Sorry about that. I got cut off there because my wife came in and said I was being too loud, so I had to shut the windows. I guess I was starting to sound like a preacher, getting all excited, getting the Lord in my... No, anyway. And now I lost my place. So, where was I? So I gotta be a little quieter. This is gonna be 4.5 installment of it. My wife came in with my daughter. They're trying to sleep, and I'm being loud. Okay. Here we are, somewhere over here. Let's see. Yes. Here's where I left off. Okay. The thus come one of original enlightenment marked by these three factors embodies in flesh. No, that's a little further. Okay. One should note that the dream realm doctrines set forth in the teachings designed for the instruction and conversion of others are doctrines of the functions inherent in the waking state of original mind, because the dream realm teachings are subsumed within the waking state of the original mind. The doctrines preached in the first 42 years of the Buddha's preaching life, the expedient means intended for the instruction and conversion of others in the realm of dreams, are subsumed within the waking mind that is revealed in the Lotus Sutra of the Wondrous Law. Outside of this mind there is no other teaching. This is what is known as the opening up and merging effected by the Lotus Sutra. I guess I'm going back kind of further. The situation is comparable to the multitude of streams being gathered into the great ocean. The wonder of the Buddha mind and the wonder of the mind of living beings, these two wonders are subsumed within the mind of the individual, and therefore we may say that outside of this mind there is no teaching. One's own mind and the mind nature of the mind entity, these three are the three bodies of the thus come one of original enlightenment within one's own body. This is what the Lotus Sutra means when it speaks of the three factors: appearance, the thus come one of the manifest body, nature, the thus come one of the reward body, and entity, the thus come one of the Dharma body. The thus come one of original enlightenment, marked by these three factors, embodies in flesh the phenomenal realm of the 10 directions, has for his mind nature the phenomenal realm of the 10 directions, and takes on for his appearance and auspicious features the phenomenal realm of the 10 directions. Thus one's own body becomes the body of the thus come one of original enlightenment, endowed with the three bodies. It pervades and embraces the whole phenomenal world and manifests the functions of the single Buddha, of a single Buddha. That means we're all collective consciousness. Hence, as the Buddha explained in his preaching, all phenomena are manifestations of the Buddhist law. When he did so, all the beings who were seated in the assembly, here we go, explaining the Gohonzon again, the 4 kinds of believers, the 8 kinds of non-human beings, the animals, the non-Buddhist believers, all without a single exception, instantly cast off the distorted vision and distorted thoughts of delusion, returned to the waking state of original enlightenment, and thus attained the Buddha way. The Buddha is like a person awake, and living beings are like persons dreaming. Therefore, when the latter wake from their empty dreams of birth and death and return to their waking state of original enlightenment, they are said to attain Buddhahood in their present form, to gain the great wisdom of equality. Equality means there's no up and down, there's no better or worse, there's no Dai Gohonzon and regular Gohonzon, there's no high priest and lower priest, there's no nothing, there's no distinctions, we're all Buddhists. Okay, the law that is without distinction and to understand that all are able to achieve the Buddha way, for there is only this one doctrine. Though the Buddha lands of the 10 directions are divided up into various regions, the law pervades them all. The law is that of one vehicle. There are no expedient means, and hence it is called the law that is without distinctions. Though the beings of the 10 directions fall into various categories, they conform to the one basic principle of the true aspect of all beings, and hence, in the end, are without distinctions. That means everyone's equal. That's why he said, in the end I made a vow, or in the beginning I made a vow, in the Lotus Sutra, he says to Shariputra, in the beginning I made a vow to make all people equal to me with no distinctions. And this is what this is saying here. Though the doctrines of the 100 worlds and the 1,000 factors and of the 3,000 realms speak of distinctions, yet because the 10 worlds are mutually inclusive, they are without distinctions. So there is no difference between the world of Buddhahood and the world of hell, or the world of animality, or the world of... It's all just a waking or a sleeping state of the same original enlightenment. Though the terms dream and waking state, false and true, seem to indicate differing categories, they all come together in the single mind, and hence are without distinctions. So all this distinction of right and wrong, good and bad, all that is false distinctions. There's only what is, and what is what is. What is enlightenment. Okay, though we speak of the three existence of past, future, and present, all conform to the principle that underlies an instant of the mind, and hence are without distinction. So there is no past, present, and future. All there is the ever-present now. That's what this is saying. The words set forth in all the other sutras are words in a dream, and are comparable to a round fan or a tree, while the words that reveal the waking mind of the Lotus Sutra are comparable to the moon or the wind. Thus, the waking mind of original enlightenment is a round moon, whose rays shine on and drive away the darkness of ignorance, and the wisdom that perceives the true aspect of all phenomena is a wind that blows away the dust of delusion. Thus, through the dream worlds that are like a fan or a tree, we come to understand the waking mind that is like the moon and wind, and in this way we can dispel the last remnants of the dream realm and return to the waking state of the original mind. Hence, it is stated in Great Concentration and Insight, when the moon is hidden behind the ranged mountains, we hold up a round fan as a symbol of it. When the wind dies down in the vast sky, we shake a tree to illustrate how it moves. The annotations on Great Concentration and Insight comments, the moon that represents the true and eternal nature is hidden behind the mountains of earthly desires. Earthly desires are not the one kind alone, and therefore the text speaks of them as ranged mountains. They're different ranges. The wind that is the sound of the perfect teaching in time ceases its instructing influence and returns to tranquility. The principle of tranquility is still and unobstructed like the vast sky. The teaching set forth by the four ranks of sages are like the fan and the tree. These enable us to understand the moon and the wind. Another commentary says, the clouds that are the earthly desires of the dream realm heap up like mountains, and the 84,000 dust-like cares or delusions hide the round moon that is the mind nature of original enlightenment. The words of the sutra and treatises, which are comparable to a fan or a tree, are used to teach one the principle of original enlightenment, which is comparable to the moon and the wind, and enable one to understand it. Such are the sacred teachings, and hence their words and phrases are comparable to a fan or a tree. The passage cited above represents one sort of interpretation and is not necessarily to be taken as the truth. What instructs us and enables us to understand the mind nature of the wondrous law, or the wonderful law, which is comparable to the moon, and the intelligence and wisdom of the mind of the individual, which is comparable to the wind, may be called the Lotus Sutra of the wonderful law. Hence, on the profound meaning states, one tries to understand terms in the category of sounds and forms in order to perceive the ultimate principle that is without marks. So all words and all definitions are all a limitation of what we are trying to explain as the true consciousness that we're trying to explain in words and thoughts. So that's what this is saying, because it's only a small portion of what I can say. So what I'm saying on this thing, and what he's saying in this writing, and what is written in the Goshos, and what is written on the other Goshos, what's written in the sutras, it's all words and phrases that only barely briefly skim the surface. That's why they say Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, or the title of the Lotus Sutra, is really the secret teaching that is hidden in the depths of the Lotus Sutra. It's beyond the words and beyond the phrases, because it is getting down to your true nature and understanding that you are an enlightened being from time without beginning, that you can fully understand. It doesn't have to say it. There's no way to put that in words other than what I just said, but it doesn't say that exactly in the Gosho or the sutras. Well, it does say it in this Gosho. That's why I'm reading it, because this is one of the most profound ones. Okay. Terms in the category of sounds and forms refer to the dream realm words of the various sutras and treaties, such as the analogies of the fan and the tree. The ultimate principle that is without marks refers to the perfect delight of tranquil light, the waking mind nature present within the individual, which is comparable to the moon and the wind. Okay, this reminds me of the world of forms, which Plato, his teacher, I just lost his name. I was saying Shakyamuni, that's not it. Socrates. So Socrates' world of forms is beyond all words and beyond all things that we see. The world of forms is the true aspect of what we can't see. We only see it as the physical nature that it's manifesting, which is one of the 10 factors of life. Okay, so anyway, more on Socrates later. This perfect delight represents the harmonious unity of the sentient beings who dwell in the phenomenal realm of the 10 directions and the lands which support and surround them in the phenomenal realm of the 10 directions. Thus the living beings and their environments are one, and the 3 bodies of the Buddha are a single body. The 4 kinds of lands are not differentiated, but come together in the one Buddha of the Dharma body. The self made up of the 10 worlds of the Dharma body, the mind made up of the 10 worlds of the reward body, and the form made up of the 10 worlds of the manifest body. Outside of the 10 worlds, there is no Buddha. Outside of the Buddha, there is no 10 worlds. The living beings and their environment are not 2 things, and one's self and the land one inhabits are not 2 things. Because the phenomenal realm of the 10 directions is the body of the single Buddha, it is called the land of tranquil light, and for this reason It represents the ultimate principle that is without marks. Without marks means there's no distinctions. So I'm going to end right there because that's a perfect place to end. And this time I'm going to hopefully use my pencil if I still have a pen, if I still have it. No, I don't have it. I'm going to put a little mark here with my folding. So the reason I'm going to end there is because that's pretty much all you need. If you didn't read the rest of this Go show, but I would stay tuned because there's gets more profound stuff in here. One of the best Go shows, and it's a long one. So it'll take me, I don't know how many installments to fully read it. But this last paragraph, I think, really summed it all up. So I'm going to read this last paragraph one more time because some of you guys probably didn't catch what I just said. The self, made up of the 10 worlds in the Dharma body, the mind made up of the 10 worlds within the reward body, these are the 3 factors of life, the form made up of the 10 worlds in the manifest body. Outside of the 10 worlds, there is no Buddha. Outside of the Buddha, there is no 10 worlds. The living beings and their environment are not 2 things. This is the oneness of life and its environment, Eshafuni. And one's self and the land one inhibits are not 2 things. Because the phenomenal realm of the 10 directions is the body of a single Buddha, it is called the land of tranquil light, and for this reason it represents the ultimate principle that is without marks. And the ultimate principle is Myoho Renge Kyo, which is the title of the Lotus Sutra. So I'm going to end it there, and we're going to get more into that next time. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for liking my page. Thank you for subscribing to it. Thank you for your comments, and especially Maru Sensei, because he got me to come back to this because I've been so busy lately and I've been putting it off. But eventually I want to read this whole thing. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but the more comments I get, the more likes I get, the more shares I get. Of course, I'll read more. But if I don't get that much attention on it, I'm going to go to other things because I have a lot of other things to cover right now that I'm working on. As you can see from all my videos I put up lately, I've been doing a lot of concerts lately. A lot of things have been opening up in my life like never before. And my healing practice has been just taking off. My healing calls, if you tune into www.blogtalkradio.com/Tim Janakis, you can listen twice a week to my healing calls. You can call in. I can do healing on you. So many amazing things are happening right now. So I'm just every day experiencing what this Gosho says, that I'm the thus come one from time without beginning, like you all are too. So here's a Buddha to another Buddha. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. See you next time.